What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another devlog. The first thing I wanted to do was fix the water visuals. Here we have underwater shadows of the ripples, and now terrain actually gets darker where you expect it to be wet. The next thing I wanted to start doing was creating combat. I wanted the attack to be a 3-hit combo. With this combo, you'll do more damage on the secondary and third hits. We gotta give it that juice. In order to be more forgiving, I was playing around with kind of a pseudo dash for the player, so they basically go towards an enemy when they attack them. At first it was pretty good, but I realized it was really restricting. The player couldn't really move freely, and they couldn't really jump freely either. So I changed it to just be during the air, where they would have that dash. After getting those attacks to feel juicy and squashing those bugs, you might be wondering why I'm wearing these dark sunglasses. I decided to implement a very rough player UI. It's cause light attracts bugs. You can see the player HP in the bottom, and that's about it. Still a work in progress, and we've got to get to it later on. I also wanted to make sure the player wasn't just getting deleted out of existence if 10 enemies were attacking him at the same time, so he wouldn't just take 10 instances of damage all within 0.1 seconds. So I implemented Mercy Invincibility. Mercy Invincibility just gives the player a few frames of invincibility, so they're not taking crazy amounts of damage in a small periods of time. This is quickly and easily achieved by just running a timer right after you get hit. Next up, we gotta hit something, so I created enemies. The first enemy I decided to make was a rat humanoid creature. It's been a while since I've modeled a character in Blender, so it took me a good while to get the hang of it again. It was looking not so good at first, but over time, we got it looking good. Just look at those legs, look at those claws, his cute little nose, look at that juice. Anyways, played around with giving each bone in the armature different weights and telling each one of them to copy their rotation and locations by a percentage to give it a more natural way of moving. And because I'm lazy, I don't want to move each bone individually. It works pretty good. I even downloaded an add-on for Blender that totally didn't and isn't going to screw me on later called Wiggle Bones. It does exactly what it sounds like. It makes things wiggle. Some use it for assets. I use it for the nose and ears. So I colored up the rat, exported him with absolutely no trouble at all, and it worked the first time like it always does. Unfortunately, the Wigglebone add-on hasn't been updated in a long time and didn't work in my version of Blender I was using. This turned out to be a pretty good thing anyways, because the way I had created the armature wasn't very optimal. So I deleted it and redid it, and the result is the things of my nightmares. So I had to redo some of the armature to work better in Unreal Engine. Learning the workflow is half the battle. So after redoing it, I finally had it working in Unreal Engine. As you can see, they're somewhat smart and won't clump up in a ball and run straight for me. They'll actually wrap around and avoid each other based on their positions in relation to the player and other enemies who are closer. The result is so juicy. The next thing to tackle was creating flying AI. And boy oh boy, this took at least twice as long to figure out as the rat AI. For reference, Unreal has built-in AI movement systems, and it doesn't exactly support flying AI. Unreal uses this thing called a nav mesh, which basically uses physical things in the world to create a place for your AIs to move in, and that just doesn't exist in the air, so we have to create our own logic. So I set on my journey. I scoured the internet, looking for easy ways to implement the solutions, easy ways to move the character in the air. Something that would cure my desire to become the Wright brothers of the kingdom of Hamelot. But alas, the solutions were not of this world. Not of the world of Unreal Engine version 5.0 plus. We were on our own in this desolate wasteland, having to go through hours on hours of tutorials, searching for a way, when I finally saw it. Behavior trees! Behavior trees are the bread and butter of AI. They create tasks for AI. The AI then complete those tasks and then continue on to the next one until they've satisfied the requirements. All for them to do it again and again and again until the end of time. Hours of blood, sweat, and tears were put into refining the enemy to fly. And alas, we had flight!
Nice.
For the first enemy, I created a wasp who would shoot stingers at the player. I quickly modeled it up in Blender, and instantly, I could feel the blood course through my veins. My hands and fingers, they went to work, and before I knew it, I had modeled, colored, rigged it within Armature, and created its animations within 2 days! My work, my failures, my struggles on the rat had not gone unnoticed. They had not gone unrewarded. We have acquired the skill of blenderizing. And although I forgot to press record during its creation, it is the outcome of the work in which you have arrived for this very moment. The wasp. So, I imported it into Unreal Engine. And believe it or not, it actually worked the first time. And I had little to no issues getting it set up with working animations. So, I got to work in creating the shooting logic of the wasp. I opened up a behavior tree, created a new task for it, then I realized, I hate behavior trees. I hate them. Why do you... So, I deleted the behavior tree, and I moved it all into the blueprint. Can you focus?
A few moments later.
Better? So I deleted my behavior tree, and I moved it all into the blueprint. And I used enumerators. Now I'm sure there's a reason to use behavior trees. Can you speak? Now I'm sure there's a reason to use behavior trees, but my AI isn't going to be that complicated.
Farewell. May you rest in peace.
Getting the basic shooting was simple. The hard part was to make it more engaging and juicy for the player. To do that, we have to have the wasp predict where the player is gonna be and shoot in that location. It works really well. However, if the player just strafes left and right, the wasp is always gonna miss and overshoot it. So instead, we have to take the player's average velocity rather than its current velocity. We add a bit of randomness to vary the accuracy of the shot, and the result is juice at its finest. I finished up by tidying up my code and just making things overall more optimized. For instance, I wanted to create a masterclass for enemies to derive parameters from that they'll have, such as death animations, HP, and just knowing if they're dead or not. Doing this will make it easier for the player to access those properties when trying to deal damage or take damage. So there we have it, Hamelot's progress the past month. Let me know in the comments section what you think below. I've created a Discord for everyone who's interested in the development process below. Anyways, that's it for now. Hope you guys enjoyed, and keep it freaky.
Turn the club into a freak show.